A cast net can be used to catch shrimp. And here's a picture of one. An unemployed man found a discarded cast net. Let's call this man John. John repaired the cast net and learned how to throw it. John caught shrimp for the purpose of selling them for a profit. Thus, the shrimp fit, roughly, if I understand it correctly, the definition of a commodity. And the cast net, at least roughly, in my confused mind, fits the definition of means of production. So I'm confused about this thing right here I'm about to bring up. There is no class of people who own the means of production in my society, because in my society anyone may acquire capital and become a capitalist. My question is this: if John expanded his shrimping business until he became the world's #1 producer of shrimp, at what point do his profits become exploitive and thus immoral? A man who made shoes was standing in his yard one day looking up at his apple tree that he didn't plant. It was wild apples. It was wild whatever fruit, but we're going to call it apples. And he had already picked the apples that were low to the ground, and the other apples were out of reach. And he was stretching to reach another apple that he didn't cultivate or grow. It just a wild tree. His neighbor had a stack of bricks, and he thought, you know, if I bring John this stack of bricks, John the shoemaker can reach more apples. And that led him to invent. In his mind, he suddenly had a brainstorm. I'm going to invent a portable elevation device that will allow someone to extend their reach. He invented a ladder, a crude ladder made with sticks, no big deal, and brought it to his neighbor and said, try this. I saw you trying to pick apples. See if this helps. And John the shoemaker was so thrilled and happy with the device, and it worked like a charm, that he gave his neighbor a pair of shoes. Here, take these shoes. And I know I can see what your size is. I make shoes all the time. These will fit you perfectly. And by the way, I have brown and black. You can pick. So his neighbor took the black shoes. As a result of this, here's my point. The shoemaker was wealthier, now in possession of a ladder. And the neighbor with a stack of bricks was wealthier because he's wearing new shoes that fit perfectly. He loves them. He's proud of his shoes. He's happy that he got shoes. Alright, true, somebody worked to make those shoes. And true, somebody worked to make the ladder. But I theorize that a portion of that wealth that is now being enjoyed by the two neighbors just happened out of thin air. Thin air. Just happened out of thin air. Just happened out of thin air. Thin air. A portion of that wealth that is now being enjoyed by the two neighbors just happened out of thin air. If the inventor of the ladder proud of his new shoes, decided that he would make another ladder for the purpose of bartering. He wasn't making this ladder for himself. He was going to trade it. He was going to find someone else who needed a ladder. Ooh, red light, yellow light, caution, caution. Sounds like capitalism. Sounds like a commodity about to be unleashed on an unsuspecting world. The guy that makes the ladders will probably hire someone to help him eventually and exploit that poor worker and take a portion of that added value and put it in his own pocket, stealing it from the worker who created all that wealth. I would just like to ask you to consider the possibility that the wealth that is being unleashed on an unsuspecting country is not necessarily totally the product of the laborer who made the ladder. Furthermore, everyone now in possession of a ladder who needs one is wealthier. He does have something of value. It is useful, and he's glad to have it. And so the inventor of the ladder now is wearing black shoes, and he has a pumpkin pie in his pantry and a goat tied up in his front yard.